television producer.
He knew he had videos. Especially, it's pretty amazing. He can do it.
You did videoing and sending it back to
The
school.
live streams into our YouTube thing. Code it tough.
I didn't know that. I figured we're standing in the room. We're here. Yeah, no, every day.
Your wife, okay?
Yeah, we're here.
I was mad.
How are you? Well, we had dinner on Saturday night,
Yeah,
and we talked about going. You were going to go Sunday,
yeah,
and your mother wanted your mom and dad wanted to have us to take them for a lift somewhere.
yeah.
So I can't do a lift here, but almost made it.
Your carriage.
We'll say whatever we can.
Last time I saw you had short hair, so I wasn't sure. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, I had a last conversation.
Don't do that to me.
Sorry?
That's okay.
Harry, Mike Rosenfeld.
Oh,
I didn't recognize you as a mask.
Wearing a mask because my son is having surgery right now.
Okay. You know, Mike?
you're gonna knock everything off.
Really?
Thank you.
So, what are you actually going to ask me? The underline.
Friends, thank you for being here. We're going to begin our service in a moment. We do have a few seats here if anyone would be more comfortable to sit down. Of Psalm 16, I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. For you will not abandon me to death, nor let your faithful ones to destruction. Show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. Of course, with such heaviness of heart and sadness that we are here to bury our beloved Ruth, who was feisty and Such a personality in this world, it is hard to believe she's no longer here. And yet we are, and we come to honor her and to give thanks for her life, to give thanks for all that she brought to our world. In our sadness, we look to our Jewish tradition to bring us comfort, to help us rituals to be able to mourn and to remember. So we listen to the voice, especially of the Psalms, to help us in this moment. We listen to the words of the 23rd Psalm. Shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord. Our contemporary poem by Rabbi Alan Fine, this moment to consider. Birth is a beginning and death a destination. Life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage. From childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat until looking backward or ahead, you see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey stage by stage a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death to life everlasting. All those stages of her life, and Ruth had so many of those incredible moments and adventures in her life. Family that guided her and that she guided along the way. And I want to invite two of her grandchildren to share a few words. First, invite Matthew to share his thoughts about his brother.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet because that's what I would have wanted. As I've become a parent myself, I've taken time to think about my parents and my grandparents, to reflect on what they've taught me and what I've learned from them. My bubby was a very strong woman, there's no doubt about that. But two things that stick out to me when it comes to my bubby Ruth are dedication and tenacity. For 67 years, Ruth was totally and absolutely devoted and dedicated to her husband, Barry. She cared for him probably a year or two longer than she should have, and it was only once she was physically unable to continue caring for Zeta last year that they finally moved into an assisted living facility. And man, was she feisty. As recently as 2 weeks ago, she was fighting with the staff at the Louis Briar for better care for her husband. Ruth was fiercely loyal and always stood up for her family. When Zach ran in the 2019 election, Bubby would show up at debates and campaign office and go absolutely off on anyone that even looked at him the wrong way. She was never afraid to speak her mind and was tough as nails. For me, her candor was often a breath of fresh air. You wanted Bubby Ruth in your corner. She was always a class act and was immensely generous with her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She did what a lot of grandparents don't do. She had the foresight to give during her lifetime so that she could see us smile. I said to my mom a couple days ago, there's no shortage of strong-willed women in our family, and Bubby set the example. Bubby, I hope you're up there enjoying a glass of sherry with your brother Israel and your mom and dad. You were one of a kind, and now it's on us to carry on your legacy. I don't think Ruth would want us to think of her as this old, frail woman, so I'm gonna talk about a different side of her. And I think that the three grandchildren always grew up in awe of our Bubby. She seemed different than the other grandparents, and she loomed so large in our eyes. We thought of her as such a dominant figure in our family. I think the ways we revered her changed as we got older. When we were younger, believe it or not, we couldn't believe how cool our Bubby was. Her fashion sense, her style, her persona. How many little boys think their grandma's cool? I'm not embarrassed to say I went shopping with my Bubby. At 20 years old. We even hung out in the mall after. I actually wasn't embarrassed at all. If anything, it actually elevated my social status. The Jaguar, the chiclets, the nightly glass of Crown Royal. Living in Orange County, we had a Bubby like no other. As we got older, we were so struck by my Bubby's razor-sharp mind. A voracious reader and an intellectual who stayed on top of the news, current events, geopolitics.
This may come as a surprise to everyone, but she had strong opinions on world events. She was known to fire off an angry email or two once in a while. One time sending the White House a full-page email in all capital letters, demanding an explanation over their lack of support for Israel. I was surprised she didn't get a response. Later on, it was Ruth's loyalty that struck us. My Bubby loved her family to death. I sometimes think she had a hard time telling us to our face what she thought of us, and was more comfortable saying how she loved us to other people. My mom meant the world to my Bubby, and she would tell anyone who would listen how proud she was of her. She wasn't shy to remind the 3 grandchildren what our mom did for our family, sometimes scolding us to remind us what we put her through. My dad once received the worst of Ruth's wrath for telling her her cooking was the best he had ever tasted. And her grandchildren were no exception. Ruth loved to brag about her grandchildren. I'm sorry to break it to everyone, but sometimes the stories were only slightly embellished, only slightly. Matthew was the best lawyer that had ever lived. Any new job Alex got, she had beaten out thousands of people to get it. And God help you if you are a waiter who ever got one of her grandchildren's orders wrong. These sushi restaurants were never able to go back to again. Ruth loomed large in our lives. It's still hard to believe she's gone. We look forward to carrying on her stories to our children. May they live forever.
Thank you so much, Zach and Matthew, for those words. So there's a rabbinic teaching about creation, that at the very beginning of time, in that first week, that in the twilight hour before Shabbat, the rabbis called this time Bein HaShmashot, that God created a few extra last-minute items that would prove essential for the future. For example, God created the talking donkey for Bilam, the worm, the shamir that was used to carve stones for the building of the temple, the rainbow from Noah's Ark. It was during this intermediate time when items that were so unique that they couldn't be categorized into the other days of creation, that their existence came to be. And had they not, the world would not be able to exist. I was thinking about this teaching when I was chatting with his family yesterday, and we were trying to figure out exactly when she died. Because it was right around sundown and we needed the Hebrew date, and we looked it up, and Carol found she died exactly to the minute of sundown. It was kind of like one of those Bein HaShmashot, those in-between moments. It was also the beginning of Rosh Chodesh, of a new month. It seemed really fitting for this woman, our Ruth, who was so unique and never wanted to be categorized like anyone else in the world, or just an ordinary person. A woman like Ruth doesn't come along so frequently, or I would say ever. In fact, for Ruth, being uniquely herself was one of the most important parts of living. And she lived this every day. She was a woman who was incredibly strong-willed, independent and sharp. Told everyone what she thought, never missed a thing. Yes, she could be feisty and defiant, but that also meant she stood up for what she knew was right. Seeing injustice, strangers being treated poorly, she would speak up. She was classy, timelessly hip, and curious about the world. She and Harry followed their dreams and moved to California for that adventure of 23 years before coming back to Vancouver. And while she was there, she found a passion of jewelry making and created incredible pieces and was recognized as a real talent. She loved those things in life that were fine, but not because they were expensive, but because she saw their value in their artistry, fine art, fashion, and her gourmet cooking. Now, while being uniquely herself, she was also very caring and protective of others. Ruth was such a devoted wife to Harry in the 67 years. Heard what a caregiver she was to him. Not just in these recent years, but all the time supporting his career as a doctor, making sure he always had everything he needed, including a double scoop of ice cream after dinner. Carol and Harry took incredible care of Ruth and your father as well this past year, especially. I spoke to Ruth a couple of times on the phone and in person just a few days ago, and she always said how grateful she is and was that you could be there for her. For all the years that she helped to raise and guide you, Carol, you truly lived out the mitzvah of honoring his mother. I also want to acknowledge Ruth's daughter Mona, who was unable to be in Vancouver today, and express condolences to you on the loss of your mother. To Ruth's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, your Bubby was always loyal and protective of you. So generous, wanting to share what she had with you while she could see you endure. As you now begin to grow your own families and adult lives, I know you will take the lessons she taught you into your futures. Our tradition tells us that every soul encompasses a unique role. We dwell in eternity and we have few passing years while on earth to understand, to express ourselves, to let our complexity and our uniqueness blossom. Ruth certainly lived this way, and her unique life was indeed a blessing. We remember her always, and her memory be a unique blessing in our lives as well. I'm going to continue now with the El Malay Racham reading. We ask that God hold your soul in everlasting peace, and invite those who are able to please rise. El Malay Rachamim, Shofei Ham Yomim, Ham Yisrael Menuta Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashtima, Nim Kedoshim Utorim, Kedorakim Yom, Masirim at Mishmat, Ruth bat Levi Tzvat Berachel, שהלכה לעולמה. בעל הרחמים יזכיריה בספק נפל לעולמים. ויצרו בצרור חיים את משנתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה. ותנוח בשלום ומשתבח. Passionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Ruth of Levi, Tzad, Rachel, and beloved Ruth Frackson, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be